Welcome back to the Garden Group Chat, beautiful gardeners. We are a group of people who have become friends through our shared love of gardening. We are living across the United States.
Zone 10A California Garden.
Western Washington, Zone 8B.
8B, Mississippi, Washington State, Zone 8B.
Zone 7B, Long Island.
Zone 6B, Central Ohio.
Zone 6A, Central Massachusetts.
In Zone 5B, Southern Wisconsin. 5A Gardens in Minnesota.
I'm a main Zone 5B gardener.
And we're here to give you a monthly look into what's going on in our gardens across the zones. So, without further ado, let's check out what's growing in our first zone.
Hey, I'm Sekoya with Chaotic Harvest. Let's check out my Zone 10A California garden. As you can see in the side yard, my corn, tomatoes, bean stalks are all doing fantastic. And there's even some cucumbers over here. And my main garden is also flourishing. I have just about every plant I could ever want growing back here. Look at these eggplants coming through, and even these tomatoes are almost ready. I already have tons of peppers, squash, cucumbers. I got my roselle, cotton, and ground cherries in the ground, and also these garden huckleberries I grew from seed. My mini sunflower field is starting to take off. All of them are about 1 foot to 2 foot right now, and I couldn't help myself and I planted a few more fruit trees.
Hi, I'm Kendall. This is Kendall's greenhouse. I have a lot to do in May, just like a lot of other gardeners, especially planting out into the landscape a lot of these native seed starts that I've been growing and nurturing as seedlings in my greenhouse. In my area, Western Washington, Zone 8B, it's common to wait until Mother's Day in May to plant out warm season crops, so things like tomatoes and peppers. I have a few of those I'm going to be planting out, but mostly I'll be planting out warm season flowers such as zinnias and cosmos, so I'm excited to do that in May. I'll also be putting together some vertical planters in my greenhouse this year and using those to grow some dwarf tomatoes and some small pepper plants and maybe a few flowers too. I already have some small root crops going, some radishes and Japanese turnips, and those will be ready to harvest in May. I'll finish setting up my earth box containers here, and I already have starts of small egg-shaped eggplants to put in those, and a few other experiments that I want to get going in the greenhouse this summer.
My name is Cady. I am a Zone 8B Mississippi gardener. Welcome to my garden. It's crunch time for Mississippi gardeners and gardeners in the South. One thing about the heat in Mississippi, my onions bolted. We no longer have those there, but we have replaced those with cut flowers. Our garlic still marinating. We have our zinnia bed here. We have nasturtium going. We have beans going. We have some peppers here, and then our tomatoes in this last bed. We have lots of things in the garden that are just starting to come up. I have made a dahlia bed back here. This is my first year planting dahlias. An honorable mention that I have are these popcorn roses. They smell amazing. The last thing we are going to be adding to our garden is this flower field. Now next year, this will be full of dahlias, but this year we are going to be amending the soil. We are going to have a whole field full of botanical interest sunflowers. I am so excited for this.
Hello everybody, my name is Kylee. I am here in Washington State, Zone 8B, and I am so excited to show you what I have currently growing in my garden, as well as what my garden plans are for the rest of May. So come along. We just finished our garden expansion. I cannot wait for all of the flowers that I'm planting in May. Inside, I have some cosmos, a few different varieties of zinnias. I also am going to be planting my sunflowers and dahlias. All of my dahlias are going in the bed right behind me. Currently, I have all of my ranunculus planted along the border, so I hope that there will be a cute little transition moment. I had my strawberries growing in beds last year, and this year I decided to make a little trellis that I could hang these strawberry baskets on. That way I have them overflowing and not taking up any room in my beds. One of the things I'm most looking forward to planting in May is finally our tomatoes. In April, I planted 2 different types of broccoli as well as some cabbage, and they are absolutely thriving in this bed, along with some of my Walla Walla onions and then a few of my snapdragons as well. This is where a lot of the magic is going to happen this season. This is going to be my pumpkin tunnel. In the meantime, I have sweet peas that I'm planning to grow all up this trellis.
I'm Liz, Zone 7B, Long Island. And May is really when my garden shifts into warm season planting. Here's what I'm most excited to grow. First, corn. And I'm not talking about your grandma's yellow corn. I grow blue jade and wild violet. Both are sweet corns with amazing flavor. Next is melons. I like growing container varieties that don't take up too much space. Minnesota Mini and Tigger Melon are 2 of my favorites. And last, squash. I'm prepared for what the vine borers might have in store. I'll be planting honey nut and butternut, more resistant varieties, and I'll also be planting Triumph zucchini, a squash that's ready in just 40 days.
I'm Manica in Bloom, Zone 6A, Central Massachusetts. Let's see what's going on in the May garden. First off, I finally put out my cattle panel trellises. I got 4 16 by 50 foot panels, so I have 2 on each side, and the idea is to grow a whole bunch of gourds up these things. I also finished rearranging some of my layout. I started planting some of my cooler weather crops like my broccoli, kale, and onions, and you might notice this thing that's bordering all of my vegetables. This is actually my chicken brooder, which is pressure treated wood, stapled chicken wire, and just screwed together. That way the rabbits don't eat my vegetables this year. All of my garlic has come up so beautifully. I'm so excited to start harvesting garlic scapes in June. My plum tree is finally starting to blossom, as well as my cherry trees. Here they are. We did have a frost, but it doesn't seem like they got damaged much.
Hello again, beautiful gardeners. My name is Kate, aka Outdoor Cat, and I'm a gardener here in Zone 6B, Central Ohio. In these next few weeks, I'm going to be hardening off a lot of our seedlings, and boy, let me tell you, they are ready, and so am I. I will also be tending to my cold weather crops that are already growing in the garden, like these beautiful daikon radishes, my kale, lettuce, beets, leeks, along with a few others. At the end of this month, I'm hoping to see a lot more color in my garden with flowers blooming, a couple harvests of things like radishes, and I'm also really hoping to see garlic scapes starting to peek out from my garlic patch. I'm also starting a project turning a neglected front yard bed into a perennial cottage garden. That's going to be quite the endeavor, so make sure you're following along because I'm kind of winging it.
I'm Amanda from Elamere Gardens, and here in my 5A gardens in Minnesota, May will be a big month. This entire garden behind me is going to be planted out. So the front of the bed, I'm working on switching to a rose and perennial bed. The back is going to remain my annual cut flower garden. So I'm really excited to get my zinnias and my cosmos and all my other fun cut flowers in there. The butterflies really love that. I've got asparagus coming up. My daffodils are blooming. I planted 68 giant allium bulbs in the back, and those are all coming up, and I'm even starting to see a few flower buds. And here are my rose gardens. If you remember them from last month, the rose cones are removed, the mounds are gone. I've planted 6 new bare roots. By next month, we should have leaves, maybe even a couple blooms if we're lucky. So things will really start coming together here.
My name is Jenn, Roots Classroom. I'm in Zone 5B, Southern Wisconsin. Let's talk about what's going on in the garden in May. So May is when I have my average last frost date in early May, so that means everything gets planted out into the garden. Things like my tomatoes are gonna go out into the garden, and they are so ready to go. Also, my dahlia seedlings are going to get planted out, and I cannot wait. My cool weather flowers, which I have planted out, should be in full bloom, and the garlic, which has been growing out here since October, will be getting bigger and getting really close to scaping, which is the best thing that garlic does.
I'm Brittiny with Wonderfully Ordinary Gardening. I'm a Maine Zone 5B gardener, and May is when Mainers become meteorologists. The month of May can vary so widely in its weather. Sometimes we get our last frost at the beginning of May, and I've experienced it as late as June. So as a Maine gardener, I'm really paying close attention to the weather patterns to figure out when I'm doing what. The great news is that I'll be able to start harvesting some of those cold weather crops, which I'm super excited about. Outside of already planted peas, carrots, radishes, spinach, arugula, lettuce, those should all be starting to pop up and be able to be enjoyed in May. Once I'm sure that the risk of frost has passed, I'm going to start planting out those warm weather crops. So I'll be transplanting tomatoes and peppers, and then I'll also be direct sowing beans, edamame, all of my different squashes and zucchinis and melons, things like that.
And that's it for this month's garden group chat. But what about you? What are you growing this month? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to follow us so you never miss another chat.